Southville 5A Elementary School, Langkiwa, continues its reading program Project Charm, Class at Home, adaptation on readers modality, aligned with Project Irish, intensifying reading intervention in schools in every household, and the DepEd Tribis program Bawat Bata Bumabasa. This activity is moral on virtual stories. The video contains copyrighted materials, the use of which has not been specially authorized by copyright holders. These materials made available and presented entirely for nonprofit education purpose. All rights reserved to the lawful owners for the materials used. It's story time! Hello! Our story for today is Jack and the Beanstalk. I am teacher Maylene A. Kella, your storyteller for today. Jack and the Beanstalk. Once upon a time, there was a boy called Jack. Jack lived in a cottage with his mother. They were very poor and their most valuable possession was a cow. One day, Jack's mother asked him to take the cow to the market to sell. On the way to the market, Jack came across a somewhat weird-looking old man. The old man had a look at the cow and turned to Jack and said,
"Oh, my boy, if you give this cow, I will give you very valuable things in return."
Jack was very happy to hear this. The old man took out the 5 beans from his pocket.
"Beans? But these are magic beans."
Jack, of course, did not believe him at first, but the old man insisted.
"Look, young man, you seem like a good and bright kid. Take these magic beans. You won't regret it. Trust me."
Jack believed the old man and gave him the cow in return for the magic beans. When Jack came home with the beans, his mother was angry. She threw the beans out of the window and sent him to bed. "You are grounded in your room until I tell you to come out, and no dinner for you tonight." The next morning, looking out, Jack couldn't believe his eyes. There outside his window stood the tallest, greenest beanstalk he had ever seen. A beanstalk so tall that it disappeared through the clouds. Edging his way out of the window, Jack leaned forward and grabbed for the beanstalk. Like a cat, he climbed higher and higher until he reached the very top of the stalk. At the top, Jack hopped down onto a cloudy floor. The first thing he saw was a great castle, adorned in gold and jewels. The castle was so big that Jack figured it must belong to a giant, a very rich giant. Jack knocked on the humongous door. It wasn't long before A lady opened the door. She was the giant's wife and a very kind woman. She invited Jack inside for lunch. As Jack ate, he heard a heavy footstep coming down the hall. "That's my husband!" the wife exclaimed. "He doesn't take kindly to people! Quick, hide in the oven!" The giant voice boomed angrily. "Fee, fi, fo, fum! I smell the blood of the Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll have his bones to grind my bread." "Nonsense! Calm down!" dismissed his wife. "You're imagining things. There's no Englishman anywhere here. Now sit down and have some breakfast." After breakfast, the giant went over to a large golden chest in the corner and pulled out 2 bags of gold. As he sat counting, his head began to nod. His eyelids dropped, and at last the sound snoring shook the house. The giant was asleep. Seeing his chance to escape, Jack crept from the oven. Now, being a cheeky fellow, he decided to test his luck. Reaching up, he grabbed a bag of gold and fled as fast as he could from the house. But suddenly the giant jerked awake. "Someone stole my gold! Roar!" he roared. "When I find him, I'll make him pay!" The giant looked to the left and to the right. He spotted Jack and charged towards the beanstalk with a big stride. Jack tied the sack of the gold to his belt and hopped them to the stalk. He shimmied downward as quickly as he could. He was moving fast, but not fast enough. The giant had already reached the beanstalk. The giant began to chase Jack. The beanstalk swayed back and forth under their weight. The giant was not nearly as quick as Jack and had trouble keeping the beanstalk steady enough to climb. Jack was a very nimble boy. It easily scaled the best of the way down. As Jack got to the bottom of the beanstalk, he shouted, "Help! Mother! Help! Get an axe!" Jack's mother came out with an axe. She used it to chop the bottom of the beanstalk. The giant fell and crushed the ground. He was never seen again. From then on, Jack and his mother lived happily ever after. The end. That's a great story. Now, what is the moral lesson of the story? You can comment your answer with your grade level and section. See you again next week for another storytelling time.